CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success. All right, everybody, welcome back to CMMS Radio. If you're watching, you can see him on screen. That's Andrew Forbes. And today, what we're really going to talk about, like right away, I want you guys to hear about this because I heard about it and I'm like, damn, we got to record about it. Make American manufacturing great again. This is a new foundation that Andrew has launched, and we want to get people's awareness built up right now, get in the mix on this thing. Andrew, first of all, welcome to CMMS Radio, brother.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to us about your new foundation, how you got the idea, and kind of like what happens next, what it's all about.
Well, honestly, I've spent the last 7 years of my personal business training employees. And, we have people leave, they want to go do other things. And it's a huge investment too, on my end to train new guys. And I thought, man, it would really kick ass if we could get some government funding somehow, and create a system to where these small guys like me that want to start something, that have the brains and have the gumption to go out and kick ass every day and change manufacturing. How do we get them some help to grow their businesses, right? And also like give back to manufacturing. And I don't know, I kicked it around for a couple of years and nothing came. My woman's always, you should start a not-for-profit. You should go help out in tech schools and da-da-da-da-da. And I was driving down the road and it just kind of hit me like make American manufacturing great again. Like we could, just as a name, trademark that and at least ride the MAGA train to get some awareness for the industry. And the idea where it goes, hell, I don't know. It's a lot of work, man, running a business, having 4 kids and a farm, we got 5 employees, would travel all over, fix machinery. So we've just kind of set a narrative. All right, here's what we want to do. We want to research and figure out how we can raise money to put into the nonprofit and then give out some sort of scholarship to small businesses to train employees and give them their knowledge. So some of that cost isn't on them,
But they've got
manufacturing.
They've got the environments, they've got the know-how, they've got all this different stuff. So if that can be somehow funded, and I think there's a lot of people out there that will want to kind of figure out how they could be involved because, for example, all this movement towards onshoring, which we really want, we all know we want it. Even without that, we have a huge gap in like available people in manufacturing already because they don't have those skills. So is there going to be anything in this where, and I know you're still probably, the vision's going to grow and kind of change, but anything around like apprenticeships through that kind of process, like say there was money available and some local shop over here, let's just pretend it's a manufacturer in Spartanburg, South Carolina that says, hey, we've got these available funds through your organization. Now we can bring these 5 students in for 3 hours a week to learn a bunch of stuff. Is that kind of how that might work, or is it a different vision?
So I was thinking more along the lines, and maybe that's some of it. My personal idea, and I'm open to all ideas, right? So this is a not-for-profit. You can join. Anyone can join. I haven't even signed the membership slips yet. I got everything from LegalZoom. Haven't really finished that portion of it yet. There needs to be a board of directors. There's an opportunity, I think, for businesses that want to continue growing to join and help create this, right? But like my concept was, okay, let's take those guys that got into working on cars or, doing whatever, working at their granddaddy's shop, or it could be working in a retail store, who knows, but they're mechanically inclined or they're interested in manufacturing, right? And let's create like this is the grand vision, right? Let's create somewhere where we build machinery, we fix machinery, we run machinery, you know what I mean? And we get like full-blown manufacturing engineering all the way around from the ground up, and we expose them to that, right, as an
Yeah.
education. But then we take those students from there and we pay them. Like, we use money from, donations. Or an idea for me was like, all right, you manufacture whatever AR-15 parts. You want to throw MAMGA on there? We sell those AR-15 parts. A percentage goes to you for your manufacturing business, right? And then we put aside X amount for your scholarship program or whatever. So we kind of working hand in hand, to grow businesses. But the grand scheme would be like, the grand vision would be have a big facility where we are taking junk machines. Instead of going to the scrapyard, bring them here. We're going to take the kids, we're going to tear them apart, we're going to fix them, we're going to learn about them and learn like the actual theory. Because I think that what we're missing in this country that they have in other countries is machine tool theory, especially in like machinery, like the manufacturing industry that uses machinery. I think we're missing that big chunk of theory, and we're teaching people just to push buttons or to use software to make programs. And dude, it's big. And that guy that can solve all his own problems, those are the ones we need in every shop.
Yeah.
And I think if we give the right people, the leeway to kind of grow something like that and use all their knowledge, we could make like a conglomerate of like a brain trust almost, and really do something cool. So
Yeah. I like the way you're describing all that, because my mind's just racing with all these ideas. And I know there's people that, I know, of course, that and on like this, that will want to know about this and see how they can get involved. I think this idea you have here about bringing various machines that end up in scrap piles into a facility for people to learn about them, how they really work, how they've failed, how to restore it, how to get that back. And the fact that you also mentioned maintaining, not just repairing, but maintaining manufacturing equipment. So you got to manufacture the equipment that you use to manufacture the other stuff. And
right,
it's perfect, because I'm all about maintenance management. I know a bunch of maintenance and reliability professionals, like real deal, heavy hitter, high integrity people that would want to figure out how they could help, or at least help get the word out. So that's really cool. I want to switch this a little bit. I want to talk about your background and how you got into this space in the first place. And you can go back as far as you want, but I think it's important that people understand a little bit about your own personal journey into the trades, manufacturing, etc. Can you share some with that on that with us?
that's a long road, man. But I think it starts somewhere. My grandfather had some like wood turning equipment, like wood lathes and things like that. My grandfather and my great grandfather were tool and die, like, journeyman machinists, and they worked for GM. And then my grandfather came down here to the Carolinas, and he worked for a mold shop. And I was in high school. I decided I didn't want to go to college. I didn't really want to do it. I moved to the beach. The recession happened, and I was wearing a bee suit. Man, it's pretty funny. I was wearing this bee suit, trying to make money because I got like, I guess you could say, not evicted, but like I had to find a new place to live. Couldn't afford my apartment because I lost my job. And I'm wearing this bee suit trying to make, $7-8 an hour. And yeah, my grandfather's like, dude, you need to come and just work in the mold shop. And so I moved back up here. I worked in the mold shop. I learned, how to program, mostly shoveling chips for the first 6 months, roughing molds and changing inserts. And then our maintenance guy was very old. So anyway, he started working. We said, man, this kid's got a brain. Let's use him to fix stuff. So started having me fix stuff. Next thing you know, I'm programming 5-axis. I'm fixing machines. And I didn't think anything of it. They're paying me like, $12 an hour. To me, that was, it was okay. I got a lot of overtime. I was comfortable. I liked what I did. And anyway, I started going to school. And that's where I realized like there is way more value in doing things than going and sitting at a school and learning. And then the things that they were teaching us, I had learned already, sitting there with the old timers, learning how to run a manual lathe, milling machine, the Bridgeport, lining up the heads, or even, tearing apart a gearbox for a big boring mill. Like the things that I had learned just weren't matching up with what they were teaching. And so I went to my instructor and I said, "Hey, look, dude, like I got to do something else. I'm going to work on cars." My cousin opened up a shop. He was doing real well. And he said, "Hey, talk to this guy," and ended up working at Methods Machine Tools as a service engineer. And then from there, I went to Mazak. I worked for a Japanese distributor of machine tools and robotics. And I worked for More South down here. Traveled all over, fixed all kinds of different stuff. And I'm the type of person, I'm not going to get stumped by something, you know? So even if I'm getting my ass kicked every day, I'm going to figure it out. When I figure it out, I lock it in. So
Yeah.
I just got a lot of experience traveling around getting my ass kicked, to be honest. And then that tool making experience that I had, you know, that came in handy. If I needed to make something or figure out a way to do something, I always had some nifty trick to, you know, just experiment. So that's where I started my business, Machine Tool Science. And that's what we do is we travel around, we fix machinery, we troubleshoot it, we upgrade it, you know, whatever you need. That's pretty much what we do.
Yeah.
And that's how I got in this trade, man. Just my grandfather said, "Dude, you don't need to be wearing a bee suit, you know, riding a skateboard everywhere." And yeah, here we are.
So that's how it all started, and now we're here today. So what's cool about this is, like, when you're describing it, the stuff you do, you like to figure stuff out, program it into your head. I'm always telling people that when it comes to skilled trades, maintenance, all these things that we really rely on and we take for granted, like if the bottom drops out, like legit, right? Crap we see movies about, all that.
Yeah.
It's you and guys and gals like you that are going to be the ones handling stuff. It's not going to be, you know, sure, doctors, maybe a little bit of lawyers, but I don't know, dude. If the grid crashes, man, and we got to start over, it's going to be y'all that come to save us. And so I think getting back to the nonprofit and making American manufacturing great again, it's a really nice way to put that kind of front and center. I just traded a couple of little like comments. There's a dude named Doug Winston, and he is all about the skilled trades. There's a bunch of people out there that are about that. And I was thinking about how another thing that's important is going to high schools and talking to parents and students all at the same time about this stuff. Have you ever done anything like that?
I did a little bit with the robotics program. I used to work for Bosch back in the day, and I helped them out with the robotics. We made some parts and stuff with the kids, and honestly, my own kids, really. You know, my son wanted to learn about like Arduinos, so we did a couple projects with an Arduino, and electronics is really my hobby, I guess you could say. So anything with electronics that my kids want to mess with, we do it. So
very cool. Very
but
cool.
as far as high schools, I mean, I consider it. My problem is, and that's why I want to make American manufacturing great again and like kind of give it to everyone. It's not my thing, right? It's just something that I think is important, and I'm willing to put in my effort if other people are willing to put in theirs and really create something, you know. So if there are people interested in high school, you know, education for the kids and talking to the parents, I'm all about it. I'll go. I'll rub shoulders with them. You know what I mean? And I'll talk to them. If people want to learn about how old junkyard mechanic Drew fixes some stuff and some of the little tips and tricks that I've got, I'm open to it. I don't care if they're 10 years old or 35 years old or 60 years old. Honestly, I really don't care. If I can show someone something and teach them something, I think that is probably the most important because, you know, we're only here for a short amount of time, right? But the things that we learn that we pass on to people, that stays and that grows. And that's kind of how I envision this entire thing is like, hey, here, take it. Rome's a republic. You know what I mean? Give it to the people and let's do it.
So let's focus in a little bit more on that. So if we wanted to like kind of put it out there for people to get involved, get in touch with you, find ways to support or contribute to the vision of what this is really going to be for all of us, right? Yeah. First off, local area. What are you're in South Carolina, right?
Correct.
So in the local area, what would be the best cities where anybody that hears this, watches this, whatever, can hear it and then get in touch with Andrew? Where should they start?
Where should they start as far as how to get in touch with me?
Yeah, not only getting in touch with you, but the primary local area where you're available to just go and meet with them or have them come
Oh
and meet
man, I
with you.
travel all over the East Coast, so if I'm
Okay.
out and someone wants to meet, I'll go meet with them. I'll go, grab a beer or, grab a sandwich, whatever. We can discuss it, talk about it, and take what they want to do and see if we can adapt it and work together. Yeah,
So
that's
anything East Coast is the closest to you. And then
absolutely. Yep.
how do they reach out to connect? You want them to do LinkedIn and find Andrew Forbes, or do you want them to go fill something out on the website?
Well, so the website's still under development. So we have between my woman and I, we have 4 different businesses. So we're very busy. Some of them are more hobbies than businesses.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we're still under construction with the website. You can fill out a form on the website. It'll kick back to my email. I think it's mamga.us. MAMGA.us. But easiest way, LinkedIn, or even my email. It's andrew.forbes@machinetoolscience.com.
I'll make
Super
sure
easy.
we get that in the episode. And I know you have a lot of different stuff going on, so we're going to keep this one a condensed episode because we're going to get some regular updates from you. And I want to get some people kind of talking to you that I think are pretty damn close to where you're actually at physically that I think
Yeah.
could get involved and help out. But you got to go through the fun question segment that everybody has to. It's not a crucible, man. These are all softballs, no right or wrong answers. You ready for that?
Gotcha. Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
All right, first one off the get. What is your favorite music?
Man, y'all probably gonna rag me for this. I like house music.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. I got people on here. I had a dude on. He's like shooting for the 1,000 club. Like
Yeah.
on deadlift and all that. He's into EDM. A lot of people like EDM. So house music, there ain't nothing wrong with that, dude. Okay, second question. No wrong answers on any of this stuff, man. What's
I'm
your
not
favorite
sweating it.
sport or hobby? And on the sport, it doesn't have to be one that you play. It can be one you like to root for and support.
Not a real big sports guy, but man, I love fishing. And if you want to consider a sport, archery. So like I love archery. My family and I, we all do archery. We have a little archery course over here at our house, and
Nice.
yeah, we love archery. So I guess
Cool.
that's a sport. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's both, right? Like it's a sport and it can be a hobby for some people. I mean, growing up, I remember as a teenager, someone took me to the archery range and they were showing up on the wall people that you can, I forget what they call it, but where you can put an arrow into an arrow, and there was one up there. It was 3.
oh wow.
An arrow into an arrow into an arrow. Wild. So that's strong, man. All right, here's the big one, dude. And you already talked about it a little bit. You got a lot going on, right? So there's no wrong answers here, but this is a really big question. What is your perspective, philosophy, opinion, anything at all on this concept of work-life balance?
You just got to take the time. Sometimes, I mean, every day stuff stacks up. Every week, uh, you just got to take and block off time. And if that means not answering the phone for 3 days, throwing up a message on your email saying, "Hey, I'm out of the office," just take the time. Make sure, and this is my perspective, that you spend time with the people that you care about the most, because that's why we do this every day, right? Like I love to work, right, but I work to live also. So I mean, the people that love you and support you, you got to take time for them. You want to keep a happy wife and have a happy life. You gotta give her what you need, even if that's going to get your a pedicure, or a manicure or something with her. I've done it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've done it,
I'm with you, bro.
dude. She wants to go get a manicure. So what? Let's go. Let's do it. But
I'm,
also
that
take time for yourself too. That's the one that I tend to not do enough, is take that extra, 2 hours to go out there and just do something I love, go fishing, where I'm not taking other people fishing or networking, just get out there and go catch some brim and pretend like I'm 10 years old again.
yeah,
Don't forget to
man.
be a kid. Don't forget to play.
There's nothing like fishing, and fishing has almost nothing to do with catching fish, man.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. It's not the fish you're after.
Yeah. Yeah,
You ever
that's good.
want to go fishing, you come up here, I'll take you fishing.
Right on, man. Right on. This is good. I just want people to get a quick hit episode, get to know you, and it's make American manufacturing great again, and that's MAMGA. MAMGA.us. Check it out.
MAMGA, MAMGA.
MAMGA. MAMGA.us.
Kind of dumb, but MAMGA.us. Yep.
There you go. We'll put it up there, man. Andrew Forbes. Thank you for being here with me on CMMS Radio, brother.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too, man. Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit CMMSradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS, from selection to implementation, to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.